Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Purdy Insurance. Visit Purdy Insurance on Market Street in Sunbury or visit online at purdyinsurance.com. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Another big weekend for you. Notre Dame got lost. Yankees barely hung on.
The Yankees crushed the Rays twice.
Yeah, split the series. Yeah, really impressive. And then the Eagles barely held on.
Yeah, that I didn't expect. But
No,
W
I
is
didn't.
W.
I didn't. You're not that good. I'm trying to tell you, you're not that good. Sorry. But you're probably better than... And then there's the Cowboys.
Get the lingerie on the deck. Call the janitor.
Cooper Rush is the quarterback. Dak's out for a long period of time. Talk about a fluke. Yikes. As usual, though, you cheered the injury.
I do not cheer injuries. Let me put it to you. I feel bad for him.
You're always happy when you say, he's a fraud.
But I do revel in Cowboys fans and Jerry Jones' misery. I will say that never gets old.
Because of all the Super Bowls they've won? They have 5, right?
Correct. But the last one was in, 95?
They have 5, right?
Yeah, they have 5.
Yeah. Super Bowls, going into what number? 58?
57, yeah.
57, yeah. You have how many?
We got one.
Yeah. 1. 4-team division, you're 4th in Super Bowls?
Correct.
Washington has 3.
At this point.
Giants have 4.
Correct.
Cowboys have 5.
That's fine.
Actually, it's not fine with you. You panicked on all of them. Why can't we be that good, Dad? Your family has Moderna stock, don't they? All right, let's... Here's our play-by-play call of the day.
Boswell trying to get it done. Snap, placement, kick on the way. Boswell! That's a winner! Unforgettable season opener! And the Steelers outlast the Bengals in overtime.
What a bad game that was. Jeez.
Bad overtime period alone.
That was a bad game. I'm sitting there going, God, I think this is a bad game. And the Steelers defense played great. But it's like, boy, this is such a bad game. But they all count. Question is, how long is TJ Watt out? I guess it's bad, but not as bad as first feared. How about that?
Yeah, he's getting second and third opinions now.
Yeah. But you know what? This is the new injury of the last 10 years that we hear a lot about. And you got to ask yourself, why? Why do we hear about so many pec injuries now? We never heard about that before. Why? Oh, well. All right, he's just back from Greece. In fact, we're going to tell the suit that Bucknell's playing a 4-game road trip in Greece. What do you think? Think he'll buy it?
Well, I don't think he's even going to Michigan, so I'm going to say no on that one.
He's not going to Michigan. Why not?
Don't know.
Was he allergic to the air?
Oh, my almighty!
I was just told that he's not going to make the trip to Central Michigan this week.
Why not?
I don't know. I guess for whatever he's got going on here the night before or something, he can't. He doesn't have enough time to get out there. I'm not sure.
We have airports. All right, let's bring in. He just got back from Greece. Speaking of airports, he is back with us. Nate Bauer on 3.com, sir. Welcome.
Not a ton of Penn State fans in the Grecian Islands this time of year, Steve. You'll be surprised to learn.
Yet I will tell you that the ones that are there, wowed.
That's all that matters. That's all that counts.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you? It's great to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. And everybody got a chance. Look, I talked to Dusty Dvorak for about, 45 minutes on Friday morning. And we were talking about, at one point, the quarterbacks. And I said, you can be looking down at your spot board or whatever. I said, you'll know when Drew Aller comes in. And he laughed. He goes, yeah, you're probably right. So, look, Sean Clifford played really well. So let's put that to the side of the first. What'd you think of the kid?
No, he's good. Look, I'm struggling with this balance, right? Because it seems like it's necessary to allow for the enthusiasm for him that is warranted. Right? Like, I mean, look, that throw to Omari Evans, right?
Yep.
Was perfect. Okay,
yep. And
from the press box, it was funny. A buddy of mine texted me, and he was just like, "Oh my goodness, that ball was on the money." And my instinct was, nah, it didn't look that way to me. Like, it looked like Evans kind of ran it out and got under the pass, right? Like, it didn't feel as though the pass was that perfect. And then I saw about 4 replays of it, and it was like, oh no, that was fantastic. Yeah, that was a perfect ball that he threw.
But let's go. Let's go to the freshman receiver. Watch the route he runs. He's open because of the route he ran. That was a fabulous route.
It is all of the things, and you know, I feel like we talk about this occasionally, but James Franklin does not get enough credit for his honesty in terms of the assessments that he provides, right? I mean, I think that when you look at this true freshman class, he's been talking about it since June. Right? I mean, right. He's been talking about not only the guys that came in January, but just the class as a whole and what their potential was for this season. And so I think that there's been, again, not only for the media in terms of how we present this information, but for James Franklin himself, he's tried to not go overboard in how he talks about these guys, but there's no question that the buzz and the excitement and all of the things that happened in the stadium in the second half on Saturday afternoon all align. They all align with everything that's been talked about for the past 6 months.
I mean, to me, what they've done, besides getting several into the rotation, they've changed the depth quotient here. And I think that is a big element here because you look at any of the top teams, they're able to absorb problems, and they all have them. Everybody does. Clemson has them, Ohio State has them, Alabama has them, but they've been able to absorb it. This class allows them to absorb it, I think.
I think very much so. I actually wrote about it yesterday that Penn State needed to beat somebody up, right? This has been a 2-year deal where they just haven't, and obviously the COVID year was what it was, but they just haven't had the opportunities to comfortably get backups in the games. And Franklin talked about it this offseason. I think that he realized and somewhat acknowledged that there were some circumstances last year that were probably a mistake, right? That it ended up hurting them, obviously at Iowa, but even after Iowa, that they hadn't been able to, and again, this is kind of a combination of factors, but that they hadn't been able to take advantage of that Indiana game, right?
Right.
The Ball State game.
Right.
They won 44 to
even the Villanova game, because they put the offense out there, and then Villanova against the thirds put together 2 long time consuming drives. The offense never really got out there.
Very much so. Very much so. And so the chances that they had last season were wasted. And if you look at the way that those 2 games played out, Ball State last year and obviously Ohio on Saturday, they were actually very similar in terms of the score at the half and how the game was kind of proceeding. But Penn State was able to they made the decision to get Aller in the game as soon as they did in the second half, and it paid dividends. They desperately needed a situation like they had on Saturday. It's not going to get a ton of publicity, but they really needed to have an opportunity like that, and they took advantage of it.
Well, what was interesting to me, and it was when we interviewed James afterward, part of my question was he not only put Drew Aller in the game, he put them in with the ones.
Yep.
See, and I think that was invaluable to Drew, that he worked with the ones in a game situation.
Totally. I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, but it had look. You don't necessarily know how you're going to draw these things up, right? But you have to get guys like Drew involved in the season. He was never going to be, or it didn't appear to me at any point this offseason that it was ever his show, right? He wasn't going to actually challenge Sean Clifford for that starting spot. But you got to be able to find and carve out spaces to involve him, to get him as part of the action. And guys like, obviously, Nick Singleton was going to make a push. There are some other guys that are in that realm of Dennis Sutton has to play. You have to find a way to get these guys to play in today's day and age of transfer portal and NIL and all of those other things. And they've been able to draw that up and do it perfectly through the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's interesting because Dennis Sutton, look, what was interesting to me is every freshman played better in this game than they did the first game. Dennis Sutton played much better in this game than the first game. Remember, he didn't come in until the middle or latter part of May, I think, something like that, because McDonough doesn't let you leave early. And this is what...
You know what, Steve? It was actually June 11th.
June 11th, okay. June 11th?
Yep.
And so he didn't have the spring here.
Yep.
And he's already playing, and I think that's really important along the way. What were a couple of other things maybe under the radar that you saw that you liked?
Well, obviously Singleton isn't under the radar; he's front and center. But it's huge. It's huge. It changes everything. And I thought that what Franklin brought up in the post game summarized it perfectly, because it's not just about the fact that he can break off an 80-yard run. It's the fact that defensive coordinators now have to account for it, and defensive coordinators accounting for it completely changes the complexion of the season for Sean Clifford and for Mike Yurcich.
And can I add one other part to that? For anybody who's asking why Drew Aller ran, when he comes into the game, if he has to come into a game, if he does, guess what? They know he can do it. It's on tape. That's why they put it in there. Yep,
very much so. And so those, I think that those are. It's not the front and center. Nick Singleton being spectacular and Drew Aller being spectacular or really good are their own thing. That's what's going to be front and center. But the ramifications and the things that it does to open up the offense for all of those other pieces. Hey, surprise, surprise, the offensive line is a lot better when Nick Singleton runs for 70 yards. Right?
Yeah. Instant improvement.
Instant improvement. And so, I think that those are important. But I do actually think that the offensive line did take a little bit of a step on Saturday. I thought that some of the blocks that set up those runs were better. Beyond that, Abdul Carter is the real deal. Yep. He's instinct. So I think is important. I think that I have two questions coming out of Saturday. I still have a little bit of question about that defensive line, and I'm starting to wonder why some of the interception opportunity, it was kind of a one-off. Maybe it felt like against Purdue, but I thought that there were some opportunities that Penn State secondary wasn't able to corral on Saturday as well. That look, these are you got to make the play. You got to interceptions are life-changing, as Anthony Poindexter once said. Yeah. So you got to capitalize when those opportunities come, and certainly I think in Findlay this weekend, they're going to have some more of those opportunities that you got to maximize.
Yeah, he threw 2 against San Jose State in the first half, which were important. I feel like a broken record. I feel like I'm saying exactly the same thing I said a year ago. You watch Auburn through 2 games, and I have no idea how good they are.
Yes. The running backs are good.
Well, we know, Bigsby, Hunter, Alston, they're good. Tight end, Schenker, really good. Hall, 29 to defensive end. Whoa, big-time player. I mean, NFL player. A lot of the other stuff, I'm not sure. Riley's 13, the inside linebacker, is a good player. But everything else, I'm not sure about. I just don't know.
I can tell you that based on the reactions of some of the Auburn communities that I perused online today, they're not real sure either. Right. Those fans aren't real sure either. Not a ton of satisfaction about how that game played out for them on Saturday.
Yeah, and I thought San Jose State was really well prepared, but I felt like that when they got behind, they kept trying to rely on the same game plan, and he never once went forward on 4th down. Yeah. Like, jeez, come on, play to win.
Yeah, it's funny, but I gave Ohio a lot of credit for that on Saturday.
Oh yeah, right? No,
late in the first half to keep coming.
Yep.
To not pack it up.
No. I agree with you, and I like. By the way, Rourke's numbers are not good in the game. I thought Rourke, the quarterback, played very well despite what his numbers say.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback.
Yes,
he's a good quarterback. It was very clear from that FAU game. I didn't do a ton of research on Ohio, but that's an offense that can play, and he's a quarterback who can play, and Penn State should probably feel pretty good about giving up just 10 on Saturday.
All right, great to have you back. Watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding. That's really good. That'll be good for you. Don't watch don't watch the sequel. It doesn't matter.
A lot of cucumbers in my diet now. Cucumbers, green peppers,
olives.
Right? Olives, always. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to keep you alive.
Something like that.
Those 300-yard drives down the middle, wedge to the green. One of these.
Live for it.
I always refer to it as Jack Ham wedge when Barney Moore puts it down there. All right. I can tell you right now.
He can play.
Oh, no, he can play.
Barney.
Oh, he can play.
Barney.
No doubt. He's quietly been terrific. So.
Yep.
And
punt you.
In fact, you could help me out. Which number 6 is back there on punt returns for Auburn? That'd be great. Thanks.
I'll check in with you on Saturday.
They both. I'm literally gonna watch warm-ups, and I'm gonna see. I guess one of them wears a wristband, and I got to figure out which one it is. So that's all these little things you got to do. Whatever.
You're a veteran. You're a pro's pro. You've been doing this for decades.
Yeah.
I can count on you.
It's my job to get it done. All right, my friend. Thank you. See you down there.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Yeah, 2 number 6s for punt returner. Yeah. Terrific.
I hate that.
Well, it is what it is. I don't worry about that stuff. Whatever. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out in pregame. It's no big deal. Okay? It'll be all right. You hate that, don't you?
In this case, yes, because same numbers drive me crazy when I'm covering, either when I'm calling a high school or college game, either broadcast or PA. That drives me bananas.
Yeah. You make it work. You make it work.
You do.
It doesn't matter. All right. We'll come back with more in a moment. Great to have you with us today on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
When car repairs get difficult,
Well, I just don't know.
Me neither.
we get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Open 7 till 4, Monday through Friday. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And today's show brought to you by our good friends at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, RV, boat, motorcycle, whatever it may be. It is all at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Joined now by Bucknell head football coach Dave Cecchini. Dave, welcome back. Great to have you with us.
Thanks. Great to be here, Steve.
All right, so you go on the road with this one. You want to see a game 1 to game 2 improvement. It's not a win, but do you feel like you're a better team after it?
I do. It was a slow start. Playing on Bermuda grass in the rain, and then it quickly, the conditions deteriorated as the football game go on, and we didn't do a good job of handling it. And VMI certainly handled the conditions better in the first half. I give our players credit. Great gut check at halftime. Things weren't going our way. Weren't getting the calls that we wanted. The ball wasn't bouncing our way, but we just hung in there until the second half, and the momentum started shifting. We were becoming stronger on offense and on defense, and really playing better as the game went on, and we just kind of ran out of time there in the fourth quarter. But I really do. Our players responded to the adversity and learned some lessons, and we emerged from it a better football team.
All right, so tell me now, what gaps you need to close. What gaps do you feel like you need to close that suddenly takes 10 points and gives you 14 more to work with and win the game?
Yeah, the differences there were very, very small. We're talking an interception that just bounces off our hands in the rain, as opposed to us catching it, and we've got a clear path to the end zone. On the offensive side of the ball, a couple of drops or just one or two poor throws. We had plays that we left out there, and so the difference in the game really came down to 5 or 6 plays. We've got a 40-yard field goal, and it's a little wet, and the ball is slippery, and our holder doesn't have confidence, and so we don't get the kickoff. 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, they've got a 40-yard field goal rather, and they put it right through the uprights in the same conditions. Those were the types of things that we're really, really close. We just need a little bit more consistency, is what we keep talking about with our players, so that we don't put ourselves in the hole that we did coming out and playing as well as we did in the second half. We showed that we could compete, and we just got to do it, put it together for a full 60 minutes of effort, and we'll get the win.
Sometimes situations like this come up, Dave, and my first thought is usually it's one play each half. If you can find one play each half, it changes the dynamic of the game. Right or wrong on that?
Yeah, absolutely. The trick is you don't know which one play it's going to be.
Right.
There's always those critical moments. You can look back in hindsight and say, boy, if this just would have happened, if we would have just gotten this call, if we just would have, caught that pass, if we would have just made this stop on defense, so you never know. You always have your players ready. Like, hey, the critical plays are coming. Not all plays are created equal, but the trick is you don't know which one. Sometimes they're obvious. Particularly as you get closer to the end of the game, but that play that happens in the middle of the second quarter can be one of the critical 3 or 4 or 5 football plays in the game. You just don't know it.
All right, the ability to run the ball. What are you seeing there right now? Now, part of that's how VMI played it, no doubt. But how much more production do you need there to at least balance it out for you?
Well, to get that consistency I talked about earlier, we do need to be developing a more reliable run game. We've had our moments. We've had our big plays, our explosive plays running the football. We just haven't had that consistent ability to move people off the football. Now, granted, we've played 2 really physical, really dominant defenses, particularly in their maturity and experience with their front 7, especially on the defensive line. So it's been a tough ask to ask our linemen up front, who are vastly better than we were a year ago. It just really hasn't manifested itself on the field with any degree of consistency quite yet. We've seen the flashes, we've seen the success, we've seen some big plays. And then, again, as I addressed our team on Sunday, the day after the game, we're going to continue to get better, hopefully, over the course of this week. It still might not show itself on Saturday because we're playing probably the best opponent on our schedule in Central Michigan. So our guys just have to be patient. They have to believe and know that we're getting better, even if the score hasn't reflected that, at the end of the football game yet.
Yeah, Richardson's obviously a really good quarterback. There's no getting around it. He played well against Oklahoma State in the opener. He actually played well in their second game of the season, even though they lost that one. What about your quarterback situation? You played 2 of them. How do you want to handle it moving forward?
Yeah, so Ethan did a good job, but we, in the first half, moving the football, he had 1 interception that was really a great play on our opening drive. We were putting together a great drive, and the free safety from VMI just made a great break on a football, and I can't fault Ethan for that. He's young. He's gaining experience, he's gaining confidence, and he's really, really talented. Now, that being said, Nick Septenfelter came in the second half and really provided a spark for our offense to get things going. So, we're going to see how it goes this week in practice. Ethan, is a guy who, he's got great potential, and Nick is probably one of our best leaders, if not our best leader on the offensive side of the ball. So they both got a pretty good skill set, and we'll check on both of them as the week moves forward. And I would say at least right now, as we look at Central Michigan, we'll probably be playing both quarterbacks on Saturday.
What do you think of Richardson, the Central Michigan quarterback? I probably should call you and get a scouting report, because after Auburn, that's what I've got next. So,
yeah,
ironically,
he's got some athleticism to him. He's a little streaky right now. You see some of the inconsistencies in him, where one drive he goes out there, he has all the tools. He has the ability to be a great FBS quarterback. He's just, early in the game against South Alabama, I think he, really wasn't comfortable for whatever reason. And you can put together, I think he's a great example of a quarterback. You can put together a highlight film where he looks as good as any quarterback in the nation, but then you can also put on here's a low light, in his first 2 games, and there's some plays there too. So he's talented. There's no doubt about it. I just don't think he's as polished or as experienced that they need him to be to really be clicking on all cylinders offensively.
How important is it for your team to get to a lead, no matter who it is, but then play with the lead?
Yeah, well, it's something that you have not seen out of our team so far this year. So it's something. It's not by design, but it's worked out that way. And again, I'm glad our team has played so hard and has come from behind in both games and really closed the gap as the games have moved on. That's a far cry from where we were a year ago. So I guess I would rather have it this way as opposed to a year ago where we would have leads in the first quarter or the first half and then watch it slowly change as the course of the game wore on and our team got worn out, simply physically overwhelmed by our opponents. So we're working hard, and like I said, it's going to be a tough challenge here at Central Michigan, but we're concentrating on the little things so we can become more consistent, and the goal is to emerge from the game with a win if we can, if we can't, at least come out of the football game healthy and a better football team than we were when we went in.
Patrick Quinlivan had 2 sacks in the game, forced a fumble, recovered it. What kind of potential does he have?
He's a great kid. I mean, you have guys on the team that are just team favorites, guys that are kind of the underdog who just work really, really hard during practice. And we've got a couple of them on offense, a couple of them on defense. So when they make a play on Saturdays, that probably energizes the team beyond anything else that one of our marquee players can do. And Pat made a couple of those. He didn't play a lot during the football game, but he was around the football and made those plays and made it at critical times and helped us get back into the game. So it was great to see from Pat, and he's a young guy who's got a lot of bright future ahead of him.
Dave, thanks so much. Appreciate the time. Best of luck coming up this weekend at Central Michigan.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thank you.
Dave Cecchini, head football coach at Bucknell. Understand after Dak Prescott's injury, you bought everybody in the office cake.
No, senor! No, senor!
I don't understand where this comes from. All right, we'll come back with more in a moment. Great to have you with us today on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
The weather is getting cooler and the leaves are changing in Central PA. Hi, this is Susan from Purdy Insurance. If your current agent is falling short, it's time to give Purdy Insurance a call. We're a local, family-owned independent agency ready to find the right insurance to fit your needs. You can call us at 570-286-5855, stop in our office on Market Street in Sunbury, or head to our website at purdyinsurance.com to find out what we can do for you.
Under pressure, Goff hit as he throws. It was deflected by Kaiser White, and James Bradbury has his first Philadelphia pick, and it's a pick six.
They needed it because your team didn't play well. Jeez. Wow. You got away with that one.
Yeah. Defensively, a lot to clean up. And a lot to be concerned about that I didn't think we'd be concerned about.
I'm not concerned about any of it. All right, so here we go. Sure you'll be fine.
Impressive win for the New York Football Giants, by the way.
Well, again, can I talk about Saquon for a moment?
Oh, yeah. Huge game for him, of course.
People do not, it's things that I know that are obvious to me. I always get frustrated, then I then have to explain to everybody else about how things work. Ugh. All right. So I'll waste my time and do this, but okay. People see somebody come back from an injury, and they think right away, that's it, same guy as before. And it's not how it goes. There are 2 injuries in particular, knee injury and Achilles injuries. When you come back from them, you are functional in year 1. You can play. Football, basketball, you can play. The mind is telling you, come on. The body's like, I'm still getting used to post-surgery. And you look at Saquon last year, he played, but he was functional when he played. It's always the second year like, whoa, he's got the jump back. He's got that speed back. He's got that get to the edge back and get through the hole quicker. That second year back from any knee injury, even though knee surgery is exponentially better than it was 10, 20, 30, and especially 40 years ago. Not even close. Okay? And the other one's the Achilles. I remember when Tim Frazier got his. Now, Barkley, remember, is still not a year out from, or is not, when he played last year, he still was not a year out from getting hurt. All right, so now he's 2 years out, almost. Remember when Tim Frazier hurt his Achilles, he could blow by all 5 guys. And then he got the Achilles, and when he came back, he was functional, but he could blow by 2 and he couldn't get by the 3rd. Second year back from it, he's playing in the G League. Now that old speed's back, he's flowing, and it gets him into the NBA where he'd spend, 8-9 years in the NBA? And it's the same story with Kobe Bryant. Oh, he came back for the Achilles. Kobe Bryant, when he came back from the Achilles, was good. The second year back, he was great. It's always that second year with a guy. When a guy comes back, he had the kind of year Saquon did last year I expected. I expected him to have a functional year. It's not one of those injuries where you come back and go, whoa, here we go. So, The Athletic did a poll on football. Nance, Romo, Wilson, number 1, 36%. Michaels, Herbstreit, Hartung, number 2, 23.5%. Buck Aikman, Lisa Salters, 3, 18%. Tarico, Collinsworth, Stark were 4th. Burkhardt, Olsen, Andrews, and Rinaldi were last. When it comes to game broadcasts, what do you prefer? NBC 1, CBS 2, Fox 3, ESPN 4, NFL Network 5, Amazon 6. Studio. Fox number 1 by a wide margin. NFL Network 2, NBC 3, ESPN 4, CBS 5. Ooh, that has to hurt the suit. He's a devotee of Bill Cowher. If Coach Cowher tells him to go drink pond water, the suit is over by the pond.
You, sir, are my hero!
Will you subscribe to Amazon Prime to watch Thursday Night Football? Already subscribed, 77%. No, 14%. Yes, 5%. Not sure, 4.4%. Will Buck and Aikman impact your Monday night viewing? 71%. I'll watch the same. 22% will say they'll watch more. Only 7.5% said they'll watch less. When will Tom Brady retire and join the Fox booth? 49% said after this season. 33% said 2 seasons. 14% said never. Which current player or coach do you think would be the best broadcaster? Sean McVay, 1, 40%. Mike Tomlin, 2, 22%. Tom Brady, 3.9%. Aaron Rodgers, 8%. Von Miller, 7%. Bill Belichick, 4%. Jalen Hurts, 0.
I put Bill Belichick at 0.
Have you ever seen, do you see Belichick on the NFL top 100 of all time?
I did not see him on that. I was shocked he even did it.
Thoroughly, completely outstanding. I mean, absolutely outstanding. Because, again, when you talk to Bill Belichick about what is in his personal interest wheelhouse, he is terrific. You don't judge guys on the press conference. He didn't want to do the press conference. He didn't want to talk about certain stuff. When he's away from it, he's a different guy. One to 5, how do you grade the Manning cast? 4 won it. 3 was second, 5 was third. 1 was fourth, 2 was sixth. Was fifth, excuse me. How much money would you pay for the ability to watch every NFL game? America's cheap, less than $300, 85%. I mean, you barely pay cable.
Right.
How likely are you to watch an alternate broadcast? 1 is never, 5 all the time. 5 finished last. 1 finished 4th. 3 right in the middle finished first. How much do broadcasters matter while you're watching a game? 1 doesn't matter at all. 5 can make or break a game for me. 3 finished first. 4 second. One finished last, 5 was fourth. Rules analysts. 1 don't need him, 5 essential. 1 finished last and 5 finished fourth. It was 3 right in the middle. Will you purchase Sunday ticket? 79% said no. Will you subscribe to Apple TV Plus? Depends on the price, 38%. No, 37%. Will Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run after the 4th inning? 98% said no. I'm just kidding. That wasn't a question.
That did happen. What was it? Saturday night, I think it was. Although it was against positional player, but it still was done.
Irrelevant. Let's move on. Like meaningful game. It's like Captain K. Just like Garrett Cole. Like, they're in the play. They let teams with winning records in playoffs. I have to pitch against them. I got a twinge. These are your people. Which lead NFL booth would you like to sit there and watch in person? Which one would you want to watch?
I'd say a slight edge to Al Michaels.
Finished second.
Because he's one of my idols.
Romo and Nance, 47%. Michaels, Herbstreit, 19%. Buck Aikman, 19%. Tarico Collinsworth, 9%. And Burkhardt and Olsen, 5%. I mean, nobody knows them. I mean, they're still new.
I love Kevin Burkhardt, though.
How much would you pay? I think he's great. How much would you pay for a pay-per-view Super Bowl? Up to $50, 67%. 50 to 100, 19%. 100 plus, only 14%.
If we get to that point.
Well, you don't have to worry about the Eagles are never going back, so.
No, what would happen is they would get to that point, and then I have to pay to watch it.
You're
listening to